Let me jump back though, because you brought up AI, and I think AI is a game changer for our industry and for businesses. And the way AI operates really in a very simple way is that it sort of gathers up what's out in the internet on the public sphere or out there in the universe somewhere and goes through an algorithm of identifying what in response to the query, thank you, that's a hard word, query, to be able to sort of put some sort of logic together and give you back a response. So I look at AI as it is right now, artificial intelligence, as only as good as the information that's out there. Right? So can you manipulate that information that's out there by being very proactive and making sure you're getting your messages out across whatever social platforms? That's one way of doing it. The other way is really looking at it AI as an analytical tool to go out there and scrape the internet, and you can understand sentiment, you can understand perception, you can understand about a lot of different subjects, and you can break it down, and then you can sort of devise what it is that you need to say, either work towards correcting a misperception or being proactive and saying, hey, this audience group is really they have great sentiment towards this kind of approach, and then you sort of design your messages around it. So I think it's a game changer in terms of our business, but I think it cuts across all businesses in terms of how it's being used. And it's not only in the communications field. I tell this story often, but I was always struck by the fact that in the company I was working for before I came back to Tunheim was a data analytics company. And we dealt with on the revenue cycle side of things. So I had to spend a lot of time with the data folks inside of hospitals. And one of the things that they were really pushing at this time, God, this was only 6 or 7 years ago, so it's relatively new, but using AI as a diagnostic tool. And now it's pretty common, but at that time, one of the hospitals I was working with, they had a system inside of an emergency room, right? And the doctor in the emergency room would type in symptoms. Here's what this patient is presenting on symptomology, right? And AI would do its work in taking all the information it had in the medical field, research and all that kind of stuff. And they found that the result would be a diagnosis that was 99% accurate.
Wow.
So it really eliminated, right?
Yeah.
Doctors, the error on the side of doctors for misdiagnosis. Well, if I'm in a hospital, of course I'm going to do that, right? Because it drives down my liability, all those kinds of things. I think there's a chance for us to figure out how to do that in business as well, or companies, or whoever needs to sort of be accurate in what they're saying. You can use AI to your benefit that way.
Yeah, I mean, to build off of that, I still want a doctor interpreting that, as opposed to that old adage that doctors say, don't Google your symptoms, because that's not where you want to go. Right. You will think you have something terminal immediately. But if a doctor is interpreting those, and it just helps a doctor get to the right answer faster, there's less guesstimating, or focus on one symptom as opposed to the collective whole, or whatever those things are, because they're still interpreting based on experience and expertise and time. In the same way, how can we all be empowered by AI in such a way that we trust the data and the information behind it, but also can do jobs faster, or use our expertise and creativity on top of that in order to do it better and more expediently?
I think AI also is a great opportunity for us as a company, and we're leaning into it to figure out how we can use it to help our clients and all that. And we've got some really great tools that we're using to be able to do that. But it's such a new thing that, almost to our advantage, nobody really understands it, or what it means. And frankly, most of the sort of internet wizards still don't understand how the black box works, because every algorithm is different depending on which platform, Chat GPT, or Sorrow, whatever the new product, and no one really understands how it works because it's all sort of specially designed based upon the algorithm that they develop. So for our business, it is an opportunity for us to go in and help people navigate what's to come and how they may use it to their advantage. I think we're finding the starting point really is on the analytics side. Let's understand a lot more about who your stakeholders are and what they're thinking and all that to improve your ability to communicate with them in the way that makes most sense.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot of positive aspects of it, but with anything, there's going to be the negatives. What do you see as parts of AI that could have a negative impact on our industry and the work that we do?
Well, I mean, I think some of the more common threats are that people will use AI to do their work. For instance, what we do a lot of writing, whether it be a press release or a statement or you name it, strategy memo about a certain kind of issue. It's really easy now to, I'll use ChatGPT as an example, to put in a query into ChatGPT and, hey, write me a statement that having to deal with X particular issue that I'm facing, and boom, within seconds you come up with a statement. And, I'm sure a lot of folks internally in organizations, okay, I can do this. I don't need my PR agency. I don't need my communications partner to be able to do that. So I think there's certainly a risk to our business like that.
Right.
But and I think that all needs to play out as well. And a lot of companies and organizations are having to put into place some guidelines. Here's can you use AI for this or that? Because I think to your point, there is a little bit of an ethical issue in terms of folks and how they do their job.
If you use that AI written press release, does it actually capture the information that well? I think we've all gone to webinars seeing the risk of too much reliance on AI too. And so have you thought about, does it even correlate to what that audience needs to hear, and those kinds of things that can come in it too?
The other threat, I think, best to your point, is not only on that side, but I think more and more organizations are probably going to invest in the analytics side of using AI as a tool for them to better understand. I mean, good, bad, or otherwise, some of these tools aren't that complicated to use. And so, you could really, as someone that's an internal inside of a corporation, you could build a dashboard that gets at some of the information that you're seeking pretty easily. But I think that's a little slower in coming, and I see that as an opportunity for us to sort of step in and. But the downside of it, and some of the thing that I think we bring to the table a lot is years and years of experience on the strategic side.
Right.
How to take that information and use it to your advantage, and that's value. We can put together content for you that is consistent with what you're reading in your data to be able to effectively communicate. And I think that's the door that we got to walk through.
Right.